guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones. I have never, ever, I don't think, talked about Game of Thrones on my channel, but every day is a new day and we're talking about Game of Thrones today. I wanted to give some predictions of what I think is going to happen in the final season of Game of Thrones. I have unpopular opinions. First of all, the people I like in Game of Thrones and the people I don't like in Game of Thrones is very unpopular. So I will give a rundown of the people I like and the people I don't like and the people I just don't care about. And then I will get into my predictions. I will get into what I thought about the trailer and all things Game of Thrones. Okay, so my favorite character on Game of Thrones is, unpopular opinion, Sansa. Sansa Stark is my favorite character on Game of Thrones. The reason why Sansa Stark is my favorite character is not what you think. It's not because she's done something great on the show that's just like, I love Sansa. The reason why I like Sansa is because people hate Sansa. And I think people give Sansa a hard time where they don't give other people a hard time. To me, the Sansa and the Daenerys arc are literally the same, except for the fact that Daenerys she had dragons. And for some reason, Khal Drogo, who was the first person Dany married, he is seen as someone who is great, who is powerful, but he raped Daenerys. But we're supposed to see that as not something that was bad that happened to Daenerys. We're supposed to see this as this empowering thing. She became someone through that. But if she did not have dragons, it would just be a story about how she got raped and nothing came of it. Like, she would still be with those people, the Dothrakis, if she did not get dragons. And my thing is, Sansa never had that. Sansa had all the horrible things that happened to Daenerys and more without the cop-out of having dragons. She never had people falling at her feet at every turn trying to help her do everything. People get on Sansa because she can't fight. Of course she can't fight, but neither can Daenerys. And what Sansa has that Daenerys lacks is sympathy. Sansa sympathizes with people way more than other people. And that's why in the beginning, she likes Joffrey. She sees the best in people. But what she has been able to do, she's been able to grow up. To me, the Sansa storyline is the most authentic storyline in the television show. It is the most real storyline. Dany literally learns how to be witty, clever, lead men, all this in a season, in a literal season. Sansa is real. You see her trust people who she shouldn't have trust. Learn not to trust them, and the next time she comes face to face with them, she's even better. That's why I say when Sansa gets back to Winterfell, it is the most powerful, most bone-chilling moment of Game of Thrones. But if y'all don't like Sansa, so y'all didn't let that moment be great. But the thing is, Sansa should have never made it back to Winterfell. You know the moment when Dany gets back to Dragonstone, Dragon whatever? The minute she gets back to her home, that really she never was really there for that long. The minute she gets back to her home, it was this moment, and she's like, oh, let's get to work. Y'all know that over dramatic scene at the end of one of the episodes. She's like, that is what the Sansa Winterfell moment should have been. Because Sansa should have never made it this far. And this is what I want. Sansa was able to live in the capital. Taken over by the Lannisters for years, really not years, who knows what the timeline is. She was able to live there for a while. Tell me if any other character would have been able to live as long as Sansa lived. Tell me if they would have, and I'm going to tell you no. Everyone else on the show would have died if they had stayed in King's Landing as long as Sansa did. Sansa was able to make relationships with people that other people on the show would have never been able to do. The people on the show would have never been able to survive Cersei. Never. Sansa always gave Cersei enough power to feel like she was in control and to get out when the getting was good. That was what was so great about Sansa in King's Landing. I really think people who hate Sansa need to go back and look at her time in King's Landing. Look at what she endured. A lot of people say, oh, Sansa didn't stick up for herself in King's Landing. She didn't stick up for herself in King's Landing. What was she supposed to do? I feel like Sansa was playing the game that other people on the show would not have been able to do because they have too much pride. Sansa saw her father's head get chopped off in front of her, a decision she did not make. That's another thing we'll get on right now. Sansa did not make the decision to get Ned's head cut off. What was she supposed to do? What was she supposed to do? See, here's the thing. Everyone else on the show has a gimmick. Everyone has a gimmick. Arya, Jon, Dany, Tyrion, everyone has a gimmick. They have a gimmick that they can use. They have a card in their back pocket that they can use. Sansa is the only character who doesn't have a gimmick. She can't fight. She doesn't have friends. She has no one on the show. So therefore, when she gets put in situations where her back is against the wall, it is about survival. It is about survival. And she has to do what we as normal human beings have to do. Hope that we're making the right decision. Hope we're trusting the right decision. And like a true storyline, it falls apart sometimes. It all falls apart sometimes. Ned's head getting chopped, it fell apart, but she was a little girl. And for some reason, y'all blame Sansa for falling in love with Joffrey, not keeping in mind all the people who allowed this little girl to even be in King's Landing. She should have never went. She should have never went to King's Landing. Her family, Jon included, Robb included, should have protected her. They should have protected her. Yes, Robb started a whole war, but not once, maybe once or twice. Does Robb even think about saving Sansa when he starts the war with the Lannisters? He doesn't even think about saving Sansa. It's just about taking revenge for his father, not even thinking about the fact that his sister could be getting raped every single night in King's Landing if they wanted to. And that brings me to another point of Sansa being able to involve. So Sansa went through a lot in King's Landing, but so much worse could have happened to her if she wasn't able to make connections with the people she needed to make connections with. She made connections with all the people that needed to be made connections with. She made connections with the Tyrells. She made connections with Tyrion that she needed. She had Littlefinger. She had these people who were willing to help because she was able to play on their sympathetic card. She was able to exist way longer than so many. If Robb was in that situation, he would have got slapped. We see what happened to Tyrion when King's Landing turned on him. Jon would have got Dany would have got so many people. What Dany has that other people don't have, like Sansa, is she's away. She is away from the story. In order to go kill Dany, you have to travel for damn near 3 months to go do it. So you can't. Dany had no enemies. No one was going to kill Dany. And that's why, to me, the Dany storyline in the show is the one that falls the most short for me. She has no enemies. There's nothing to be scared of anytime you go into a Daenerys storyline. You basically are just left to sit there like, how is Dany going to get out of this? Who's going to help Dany get out of this? Because here's the thing. Dany is never surrounded by any of the real players in the show. So I refuse to believe people we barely know are going to take out one of the main players in the game. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So because she doesn't have proximity to danger, I know nothing's going to happen. You're fine, sis. You're fine, sis. And the minute she comes against some opposition, she loses a goddamn dragon. You see, she's flustered. She doesn't know what to do because she's had no real adversity. She has had none whatsoever, and Sansa has. Of course, there's things Sansa doesn't have, and I can admit to that. But to me, I kind of got to the end of the video at the beginning. I believe Sansa deserves to sit on the throne in the end. I know that is a hot take, but I genuinely believe Sansa deserves to sit on the throne. I think she would make an amazing queen. I absolutely love Sansa for her storyline. And I think she has the most well-written storyline and the most character development, and I think it's great. Another person I like, Jon. Jon goes without saying, like, he's a ruler of men. Jon is great. Do I have anything negative to say about Jon? Anything negative I have to say about Jon has to do with the way the show kind of portrayed something. Like when these spoilers are everywhere. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If you have not made it through all the seasons, you do not want to hear what I am about to say. When they kill Jon and he gets brought back to life, that is the corniest shit I have ever seen on the show. Because like there was no stakes. We knew once again, this goes back to the fact that people have writer's privilege. They have writer's armor. Some people can't die. Jon, he could die this season, but he wasn't going to die back then. So when they did this, I'm like, y'all could have kept this. Yo, when we saw old girl come in, Mary, so what's her name? The Red Witch, y'all know her. When she came in, we knew she was going to bring Jon back to life because we've already seen her do it. So we knew she was going to bring Jon back to life. Like there was no suspense. There was no nothing. So I'm just like, why? Why waste this time? But to me, Jon is great. Every battle he goes into, I root for Jon. To me, but Jon is ignorant. The thing, growing up, okay. Ned Stark and Robb Stark are two. I'm kissing Sansa's ass this whole fucking video, period. Robb and Ned are two of the dumbest people on this show. The Starks are dumb. The men Starks are dumb. And what Jon is trying to overcome is the dumbness not that Ned Stark gave him, but also the fight that Ned Stark gave him. Because at the end of the day, yes, we know Jon is a Targaryen. Another spoiler. If I'm giving y'all spoilers left and right now, I apologize. But yes, we know that he's Targaryen, but he's a Stark through and through. Because of what Ned Stark taught him. But what Ned Stark also gave him is what he gave to Robb the most. The stupidity. The literal stupidity of the Starks. The Starks are so dumb. The men Starks. Robb and Ned were idiots. Period. And that is why I say Sansa deserves so much credit, because she saw the mistakes that her brother and her dad made, and she did better. Even when she was at the Boltons, she never lost her spirit. And that what is so great. And she used practicality, because everyone else has all types of tricks and stuff that gets them out of their stuff. But she uses practicality, and that what makes it smart. So back to Jon. Jon is stupid. And I worry that his stupidity in this last season is what it's not going to do him in. I'm about to get on who I think is going to die and who's going to live, but I think it's going to hurt a lot of people, and I think it's going to cause a lot of rifts, his stupidity and his trustingness, and the fact that he was an outcast. Him being outcast by Ned Stark's wife. I forget people's names. I am so sorry. Catherine Stark? Whatever. Him being outcast by her really hurt him. And so Dany accepting him and him being accepted into Targaryen life really will be something that he wants, because he's never been accepted before. He's never had a family before. But that could also do him in, because you still have Winterfell. You still are the king of Winterfell. And so you got responsibilities, boy, and it's not sleeping with your auntie. Anyway, who's next? Love Brienne. The last person I'm going to get onto is, I already said Robb and Ned were stupid. Tyrion is someone who has completely fallen apart on the show. He's useless. Tyrion is useless. If Tyrion wasn't in any of the episodes this last season, it would have no effect on anything that happened on the show. He is someone who played a huge role in the first few seasons, and now they don't know what to do with him, because he's not important in this way the show has been written. He's just not that important. But his character outside of the show, who he is, Peter Dinklage, is so popular and has won so many awards for being Tyrion, that they want him on the show because he brings star power. But my thing is, it really compromises the show. And if you're a Tyrion fan, I'm not a huge Tyrion fan. I always like Tyrion when he's ganged up with someone else, but I never really like him on his own. Not really. So it doesn't really affect me. But I know a lot of the Tyrion fans get upset at the fact that he has nothing to do. Someone who was such a major player. No, Tyrion never seemed like he would be king, obviously, but he was a player. He brought something to the game, but now he just doesn't. He's just there. He's Dany's lapdog. He's staring at Dany and Jon through the crack in the door, watching them have sex. And to me, that really personifies what has happened to his character. He's watching two actual players in the game have sex while he's just looking out like, shit, I'm missing out on all the fucking fun. And like, because you have nothing to do. You're creeping through the slit in the door because you have nothing better to do. The show doesn't know what to do with you. So Tyrion is the wild card. I would be interested to see what they do with him, but I have a bad feeling it's absolutely nothing. And I don't think we're going to get to who dies and who lives later. But anyway, so yeah, that's Tyrion. Lastly, Arya. To me, the Arya storyline is the most hurtful. It's the most hurtful because it's the most unrealistic. We know when you started watching the show, if you were aware of Game of Thrones, The Song of Ice and Fire, you knew that Arya was going to become this assassin. But what I was promised, I was not given. Arya is not an assassin. What Arya is a mystical character. What Arya is a fairy tale. She's an illusion. She's something that doesn't exist. She's a robot. That is what Arya is. I don't feel like Arya can kill anyone. I'm not getting what I paid for. I don't think she's this person who can kill anyone. What I think she is someone who has abilities when she needs them and doesn't when it's not convenient for the story. Like, I just feel like none of it makes sense. At one point, she's still little old Arya, and the next minute she can trick Littlefinger. It doesn't make any sense. Arya should be able to beat Brienne. Like, when Arya first comes back to Winterfell and she gets into the fake sword, like the playful sword fight with Brienne, it makes sense for the character we were promised to be able to fight Brienne. It makes sense. It makes sense for her to be able to trick Littlefinger. That is what we were promised. But what we were given to lead up to this moment of her finally getting back to Winterfell was not given to us through context. It was not given. And that's the thing. It's not like it's not like we haven't had the time to flush out an Arya story arc. She stayed with the many-faced gods for God knows how long, too long. The time that she was with the many-faced gods could have been chopped down by half, and we could have got this evolution of her becoming this assassin, this great fighter, this manipulator. Of course, I love the beginning scene when she told them, and tell whoever that winter came for the phrase. That was amazing. That was amazing. Winter is coming. Oh my gosh, that was bone chilling. When she said winter came for the phrase, it's like, yes, the Starks are fucking ready, because no matter how stupid Ned and Robb were, the Starks are still my favorite house. I don't know. Am I saying that correctly? I think the Starks are my favorite house. The Tyrells were a boss. And we could go into the issues with the show, with the fact that the Tyrells are gone. That makes no sense. If you know the real storyline of the Tyrells, there's no reason that, yes, 3 of your house leaders die, but they still have more people to where the Tyrells would still be game changers. They still have all this land, this useful land. So it makes no freaking sense, but that is not what we are here for. So anyway, I love the fact that Arya is an assassin. I just want the lead up to be better. I want it to be believable. When Sansa and Arya start kicking ass, I want it to be believable. It's like all of a sudden if Sansa picked up a sword and she could fight bitches. Like, what? That would make no sense. It would make no sense. And that's what I kind of feel like is happening with Arya. Nothing has showed me why this girl can beat Brienne in a sword fight. Nothing has shown me that. And obviously that scene is foreshadowing something. something. So let's get into predictions, because that's where we're at. Arya and Brienne are gonna fight. It's just like, it's just like the Hound and what's his name, the monster, are gonna fight. Their period. If I'm saying people's names wrong, it's because I haven't watched Game of Thrones in so long and I need to do a rewatch before the new season comes, but who has the time? Anyway, they are going to fight, obviously. They are obviously going to the mountain. The Hound and the Mountain are obviously going to fight, but same thing with Brienne and Arya. There's no reason for her to come back to Winterfell and for them to show us that Arya can beat Brienne if she has to, for me not to say they're going to fight. So this begs the question to me, why would Brienne and Arya need to fight? I feel like Brienne would be on Sansa's side, which tells, okay, here's all over the place. Sansa is not gonna like Dany. She's not gonna like Daenerys. We've seen the clips. She's pissed. She's pissed. When she welcomed Daenerys to Winterfell, she wanted to sneak that bitch in her jaw. Like, we know she is not gonna like Daenerys, as she shouldn't. Because let me tell you something. That's why I say Sansa being back at Winterfell is powerful. It is powerful. She does not feel like Jon should be king of Winterfell. She does not. Especially once she finds out he's not even a Stark. Because if there is someone, because that is what the evolution of Sansa represents. She is someone who didn't take pride in being a Stark. She wanted to be a Lannister. She wanted to marry Joffrey. She wanted to get a new name because she didn't take pride in her family. She wanted to be a princess. But what she has gone through has showed her the power in the Stark name, that she needs to bring the Stark name back to glory. So you think she's going to have Jon Snow, the bastard, a Targaryen, take over Winterfell? No, she's not going to allow it, and she shouldn't. She should not allow it. It doesn't make any sense. Winterfell is hers. It is hers. What she has learned is, I don't need to be a prince. No one needs to make me a princess. When I can become a queen on my own, I can lead these people. Period. When she brought in the people to win Battle of the Bastards, it shows that she can do this herself. And so I think she will definitely be 100% at odds with Daenerys, period. And maybe Brienne will be on Sansa's side and Arya's gonna take Jon's side. But the issue with that is, these are the people who I definitely see living. These are the definite people who live in the end. I think Tyrion won't die. I think Arya won't die. And I think Jon won't die. People who I think are sure as dead, I think Jaime dies. I think, oh, by the way, Jaime, a lot of people like Jaime. I'm indifferent, whatever. He's done too many bad things for me to say I like him, but he's also not as bad as Cersei. Oh, I didn't even get on Cersei. Cersei's a bitch. Like, what can you really say about Cersei? Like, she's a bitch, we all know, but we love her. We love to hate her. When Cersei gets in her bag, she is in her goddamn bag, and no one is seeing her, but she's definitely gonna die. And I think Daenerys is good as dead to me. There has to be one shocking death that's just like, to me, Dany dying won't do half a thing to me because I don't like Dany, but Daenerys dying will hurt a lot of y'all feelings, and I think that's what the big buildup is. We all know she's pregnant. She is going to have an heir, and she's going to die. She's probably going to die in childbirth, something like that. Dany's going to die. I'm sorry, you guys. She's going to die. People who won't die, I said Arya and Tyrion and Jon. The middle people, Sansa. I think Sansa lives. Not only do I think she lives, I think she becomes the Queen of Winterfell. I really do. I think Jon will sit on the throne. Jon or Arya are going to sit on the throne, and I think they're going to redistrict, and Tyrion will take over this place, and Arya will have this place, or maybe Arya won't want anything, and she'll go right off with the many-faced gods or something. But yeah, I do think in the end, Sansa takes Winterfell. Yeah, I think Jaime dies. Jaime and Cersei story, I think the Cersei storyline is probably going to be the most interesting of all the storylines. I can't wait to see Arya and Jon reunite. Like, I am waiting for that moment because I was tearing up when Sansa and Jon saw each other and they hated each other. I was waiting for that moment. I'm like, please, Sansa, just see Jon. So the fact that when Jon leaves right when Arya gets there, like, I need to see them together. I need to see them happy. I want to see tears. I'm going to be crying because she was this close to seeing Robb and her mother. So the fact that she gets to see Jon again is just going to fill me with so much pride. Anyway, that is my Game of Thrones video. It's all over the place. I don't remember their names because, bitch, I haven't watched it in so long ago and there's too much going on. But I am hype. I want bodies to drop. As long as it's not. But that's the thing. If Sansa dies, it's earned. It is earned. She has lived. She has lived. To me, nothing Dany gets is earned. 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 I want things to be earned. Earned. However Sansa dies is earned. Earned. However any of them, however Cersei died, it is earned. They have gone through so much and it is earned. If Dany dies, it's just luck wasn't on your side today because luck is always on her side. And sometimes luck don't show it. And that's how it'll just feel to me when Dany dies. Like, bitch, your number was called. That's all it's gonna feel. It doesn't feel like, man, she did so much. She escaped death so many times. And you know what? Damn. But at least she tried. It won't feel that way to me because that's not the Dany arc that I really get. And that's not nothing against Dany because Dany personifies so much womanhood and sexiness that is beautiful. And I love it. I love seeing her do that and be badass at the same time. But to me, it's just faulty. Something about it is just faulty. The storyline is just faulty. It's very white saviorish. I hated the scene where she was just going from place to place and conquering. It was just very white savior to me. And I can't do it. I can't do it. But anyway, I'm done. I will see you in my next one. Bye.